while she waits for her mate. Marriage is a blessing and it's beautiful, but there are things that should preoccupy a queen of everything conscious woman's life. Even before she gets into a relationship, her life should be full and fulfilled. Of course, my coming from a religious sector and what have you challenged the whole concept of queen of everything. In Genesis, the Bible talks about how Adam and Eve, God gave Adam and Eve dominion. The term dominion means to dominate a territory. The term dominion is linked to those that are in rulership. So, saying that God gave Adam and Eve dominion is actually means that God has appointed Adam as king of the earth and king of the garden, and Eve as queen of the earth and queen of the garden. Which means by revelation, king and queen of everything. The same Bible calls us a royal priesthood. So the term king and queen of everything, it's really not far-fetched and it's not stretched. It's nothing to be alarmed about. It's just a unique way to say to men and women that they have greater value than the world has informed them of. Basically, every woman is a queen of everything, and every man is the king of everything. Most are just unaware of it. In this episode of the Crown Show, I would like to awaken the whole awareness or consciousness of a woman or women all over the world. This episode, this message in today's episode will resonate with Black, white, Asian, Hispanic, even from 14 to 70 and even older, meaning it will resonate with women of all ages of group and all races, be it whether they are in the city, the rural areas, all over the world. A queen of everything does not sit around to obsess over relationships. A queen of everything works while she waits on her mates. Now, primarily, God did not create us for relationships. Primarily, God did not create us to sit around obsessing over relationships, wasting and spending our time, our energy, our entire life obsessing over relationships. Primarily, God created us, our Creator created us to fulfill purpose. Now, purpose is innate. Purpose, God has placed it within us even before we came, or we were placed in our mother's womb. Even before we were formed in our mother's womb. So before we go into relationship, God gave us purpose. Primarily. So it's during the process and through the process of fulfilling that purpose, that we come in union with people that are suitable with the purpose that God brought us on earth for. Which means that actually our relationships, our friendships are defined by our purpose. It means that great friendships are formed in the process of fulfilling purpose, because the people that we meet to befriend and that are great relationships, successful relationship and friendships, are people that have suitable purposes as ours. Same applies to creation of marriages. Actually, a marriage is a merger of two people with similar purposes, with suitable purposes. Okay? So during the process of fulfilling purpose, we at time come into union with other people, and then relationship takes place. Now, do not get me wrong. When I say that God do not create us, God do not create you primarily for relationship. Now, there's nothing wrong with a relationship. On the contrary, relationship is good and it's actually necessary for kingdom dominion. But I will have you know that not all of you will get married, but we are all called. You are all called to fulfill purpose. In the Bible, the Apostle Paul puts it this way. He said, I wish that you were like me and that you were content being single. Actually, in reality, if we have to ponder on this, actually some of you are content being single. But because of society, you are pressured to feel like there's something weird or wrong with you because you do not presently have a mate. Because you are not running around every man that whistle at you in the street. God did not create you primarily for a relationship or for the relationships. He created you for purpose. God did not create you for relationship. Primarily, God created you for purpose. And until you identify that purpose, only until then will you identify and will you realize what your relationship should look like. Even in the Bible, allow me to read in Genesis 2:21 to 22, 23 actually. It says, and the Lord God caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam. And he slept, and he took one of his ribs and closed up the flesh instead thereof. And the rib which the Lord God had taken from man made he a woman and brought her unto the man. Now, when I read this text, what I get out of this text is what? When God was creating Adam and Eve, when he was creating, he created Adam and Eve, male and female, at the same time. But when it came to male, Adam, the man, he created him first. Then had to put Adam to sleep so he could create Eve out of Adam. The revelation here is what? Adam and Eve, they both had an identity in God and an identity in themselves before they had an identity together. They both discovered themselves individually before they discovered each other as a couple. You know, the problem with today's society and today's world is that, and even relationship, what is actually the cause of malfunctions and anomalies in relationship today is that people couple up, and it's in the process of coupling that they want to discover within the coupling, in the relationship, what is the identity. They have not mastered who they are individually, but they are already in a relationship trying to master themselves within the relationship. That really puts a lot of tension on relationships. That's really the cause of a lot of tension within relationships. You ought to master yourself first. Being single is a mindset. You know, sometimes when people say, I'm single, it's not a status. No, it is a mindset. You ought to be single-minded. You ought to know your identity, your individualism, before you now have to couple with someone else and discover purpose together. But first and foremost, you have your own identity in God and in yourself. You need to master that first. Your own individualism first, before you master the art of coupling. So it puts a lot of strain on relationship nowadays. Now, here are things that you need to understand. Then I'll get into the 6 points and I'll be done. I won't be long. Here are things that you need to understand. These principles can be applied both to male as female, men and women. But in this case, since I'm speaking to women, then I will use the feminine. Okay? So, this principle is very important. As a woman, as a queen of everything conscious woman, you need to learn to focus on things that you can change, and trust God for the things that you cannot change. Let me put it in other words. As a queen of everything conscious woman, you need to focus on things that are within your control. This is even better. And trust God on things that are not in your control, that you cannot control. Why am I saying this? Think about this way. A relationship, it's never completely in your control. All you can do is do your part. But when the other person decides that they cannot do their own part, they do not want to invest in a relationship, there is nothing that you as an individual, as a human being can do to make it work. Because it takes two to tango, isn't it? So as a single woman, as a single queen of everything, in your individuality, you ought to focus on the things that are within your control and trust God and allow God to take charge and control of the things that you cannot change, not that are not within your own control. But when you sit, okay, in your singleness, you sit in your individuality, you ought to focus and develop. Actually, not only focus on those things that are within your control, but you need to master them even before you enter or step into what is called marriage or relationship. That will require you to make a deposit, your personal deposit, as well as being able to receive another person's offering, as well as God being in the midst. But when you, in your individuality and singleness, sit around, you are just sitting around, worrying about when am I going to get married? When am I going to get engaged? I'm this old, I'm that old. And you fail to develop yourself and even master your individuality and singleness. That season that God has given to you as a blessing to develop yourself to your full potential. When you fail to do that, you are actually disqualifying yourself for that person that was supposed to be ideal for you. Because when that person comes, he does not recognize you. You know, when Adam saw Eve, he recognized her and said, woman. She said, woman. It means that he saw in Eve the female version of himself. A man that has a womb. You know why he saw in Eve the female version of himself? That's because God had completed Eve's personal development. That's why it's very important for you to focus on your part of the deal. Focus on what is within your control. Focus on developing yourself to your full potential. Focus on fulfilling your purpose. On living your purpose. Because only then the mate, the companion that God has for you, when you are focusing on developing yourself and becoming the best version of yourself, when your other meets you, he will see the female version of himself through you. And he will recognize you and call you woman. And if you're not a woman, what are you? The opposite of woman is what? A girl. That's right. It means that you need to develop, you need to move from a position of being immature to full maturity. And when you become that person, then he recognizes you. That person that God had kept for you, had in store for you, will recognize you and say and call you woman. Because he will see in you the feminine version of himself. That's why you not developing yourself, you are not only disqualifying yourself, but you are wronging yourself, you are cheating yourself. So you do not sit around in your individuality, in your singleness, and do nothing but wandering, sending messages, emails, commenting on Facebook, commenting on Insta, commenting wherever. Where am I? Where is my husband coming? Where is this? No. While you were given a season to develop yourself. Because even if that person that you've been looking for actually comes, he will not recognize you as woman. It might be the right one, but he still won't recognize you as woman. I don't know if you're catching me. I don't know if you're catching me. Now, there's something very important that I forgot to mention when I read the book of Genesis. When God created male and female, what he did is when he created Adam and put Adam to sleep to create Eve, we do not know how soon or how later after he created Eve, he brought them together. But that says to me that there was an individual walk. There was a time of individuality for both of them. They were both, they both had to find out their identity in their singleness, in their individuality, before they had to come together and fulfill purpose together. So I hope you are catching the revelation here. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 things that I'm about to reveal to you that a queen of everything conscious woman is supposed to be doing or working on while waiting on her mate. She doesn't just sit around being obsessed about when he's going to come into her life or when the union is going to take place. She works on her vision. She works on her purpose, on fulfilling purpose. She works on her ambitions. She works on her goals until the time that at the same time, hopefully, her mate is also simultaneously doing the same work from wherever he is. And then God finds a season where he establishes the union between both of them. Here's number 1. So while you're watching me right now, busy obsessing about your engagement, your marriage, your future mate, here's a question. Where are you right now in terms of your personal growth and development? Is your personal growth and development on schedule? Yes. And because I know that we will continually work on our growth and development until we die, then at least let me ask you, are you where you're supposed to be right now at this point in time? That's actually fair enough. I know you tell me I'm 35, I'm 40, and I'm not married yet. I get your frustration. Understand, I'm a woman, okay? So I get your frustration. I know the challenges attached to it. Yet, at age of 35, at age of 40, do you think you're where you're supposed to be in terms of your personal growth and development? Do you think you're ready? Do you think you're ready? Okay, let me ask you another question. Have you achieved your educational goals just yet? And if your answer is no, then there it is. You've got one thing you could be working on and developing and growing up while waiting on your mate. Another one, how is your credit score? Is your credit on the tank at age 35? Are you telling me my credit is not good at all? Then I would say that's a second thing. That's at least 2 things that you should be working on while waiting on your mate. Now, how does your health look like? How will you rate your health? On a scale of, let's say 1 to 10, how do you rate your health? On a scale of 1 to 10, would you say you're 2, 3, 4? Actually, if you're not at least 6 to 7, then I think it's only fair I know that we cannot be 10 out of 10 because most of us cannot put in that kind of work. And actually some do not desire to be there. But truth being told is, you still have to be healthy and look your best. Keep yourself in good shape and good, keep yourself healthy basically. So that's 3 things that you could be working on while waiting on your visa. Now let me read something quickly from the book of Galatians 6 verse 3 to 4. Okay, that will make you understand this quickly. Galatians 6 verse 3 to 4 says in the NIV translation, if anyone thinks there's something when they are not, they deceive themselves. Each one should test their own actions. Then they can take pride in themselves alone without comparing themselves to someone else. What I get out of this is that we should focus on our personal development so that we can take pride in ourselves alone without comparing ourselves to others. Yes, this is a principle that you can take quickly out of this. There's a principle that we can take out of this. When you develop yourself, when you keep growing and developing yourself personally, it actually boosts your confidence, and the low self-esteem that you have is destroyed. The more you grow personally, the more you develop personally, your low self-esteem is destroyed. Because you built up your self-confidence. It actually helps you to build up your self-confidence. Yes, it can be a catalyst to boost it. So it's a good thing that you keep working on yourself. So number 1 is keep working on your personal growth and development. Plus, let me forget to remind you, if you have childhood traumas, don't you think you should work on them before you indulge in another relationship? Let's say you have daddy issues. Don't you think you should do yourself that favor, or do the man that you're trying to get going to another relationship into in a favor by working on that trauma in your life, that childhood experience in your life? It's important. You need to take care. You really need to deal with your issues. Maybe you're coming from one relationship that's gone bad. You need to heal first. Work on a healing first. Do not move from one relationship to the other. It's not a competition. You have nothing to prove even to your ex. On the contrary, you need to do yourself a favor and heal first, so that you can be beneficial to the person, the next person you'll be in a relationship with, and even to yourself. You need to heal and figure out for yourself. Maybe it was your fault, maybe it wasn't. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it's all about the healing, so that you can be prepared to give your best in the next relationship you go into. At times, we move from one relationship to the other, so that thinking that by going into another relationship, then maybe your childhood trauma will just vanish. But if you do not face your issues, if you do not work on healing, you will be a weapon of mass destruction to another person. And between you and I don't think it's fair on the person that you are getting into a relationship with. So it's good to work on yourself, heal completely, and move on to the next one. It's okay to say sometimes, I'm not ready. Like I say, it's not a competition, and we should stop comparing ourselves to others. At the end of your day, this is your life. If you mess up, you only have you to blame. You are still the CEO and the manager of your own life. In good as in bad. I'm not saying we are perfect. But I'm just saying we can still, not maybe 100%, but we can still give our best. Okay? So number 1, work on your personal growth. Number 2 is, do you have a desire for God? It's so amazing to notice how low, how desperate and miserable we can become when we do not have the ideal relational status. No, I get, like I say again and again, I'll keep saying I get your frustrations. I'm doing these videos because I've been there, done that. But I'm just saying at some point you learn and you move on. I mean, level up with me a little. I know some of you are not Christians. But for us, if you're a Christian, because I am, you consider yourself a daughter of God. And as a daughter of God, you feel like God has forsaken you because you don't have the ideal relational status. While on the contrary, as a daughter of God, you're the one that has forsaken God. Why am I saying this? In His Word, He's commanded us to love. The Word of God commands us to love God with all our hearts. He also commanded us to love our neighbor as we love ourselves. That then means that if you love God with all your heart, then there's no piece of your heart left to be broken. That you loving God with all your heart actually keeps your heart away from a place of being broken. It can't be broken because in the first place, all your heart is focused on loving God. So your love for God sustains your heart. It keeps your heart in a space where it cannot be broken. So that means, my darling, my crown, my queen of everything, that you've not been focused yet. There've been like a lack in your relationship with God, in your love towards God. Loving God, it's focusing on doing His word. It's focusing on your relationship with God. Because what we forget sometimes is our relationship. We have two types of relationships: vertical and horizontal. Vertical relationship is the relationship that we have with our Creator. It goes to the top down. And then we have the horizontal relationship. That's the one we have with people. Our horizontal relationship is defined by our vertical relationship. But unfortunately, most of the times, we allow our horizontal relationship to define our relationship with our Creator. While it's our relationship with our Creator that has to define our relationship with the people in our lives, and thus, even in our love life. So it's through your relationship with God that you are taught how to love and how to receive love, and what to do and what not to do when it comes to your love life. So as you are focused on loving God with all your heart, trust me, you will have no pieces of your heart left. Love is action. It's not just say, God, I love you. It's in your action. For example, if you know you have a trauma that you need to heal from, loving God is to be honest with yourself and know that you need to heal and walk the walk with God so that He can help you heal. You cannot punish another person and make him suffer while you are trying to figure out, while you're already in a relationship, how to heal. So let's go straight to 1 Corinthians 7 verse 3, just to emphasize on this. But I will have you without carefulness. He that is unmarried, meaning single men and women, careth for the things that belong to the Lord. When you are single or unmarried, you have to care for the things that belong to the Lord. That's where your focus should be. The things that belong to the Lord. You should worry less about what people are thinking or saying. They are not your creator. They have not created you. They do not have the call that you have. They do not have the vision and the purpose that God gave you. So they cannot tell you anything. Their opinion counts not, basically. So focus on doing the things. Care for the things of the Lord. And while you are doing so, God helps you to see where to improve, where to work on. That's it. That's our number 2. So do you have a desire for God? Number 3. Are you financially secure? Are you financially secure? I have to be honest. I'm not. So I'm returning the question to you. Are you financially secure? So while you're there sitting, obsessing over when is it coming? How is your financial life? If your financial life is not secure, then you need to be working on your economy. You need to be investing in your economy. You need to be obsessed rather on your credit. We are in a generation where most of men, through being told, they are no longer the kind of men that will say, I will get myself or find myself a good woman and I will completely take care of her. On the contrary, in our generation, there's a beauty of power couples that we observe now that comes together to do great things. And each one of them have to bring to the table. They have to bring something to the table. They have to contribute financially because there are great things to do. There are great visions to fulfill. So the responsibility cannot be left to the men alone. Now, is the right man supposed to take care of his woman? Of course. If he can, then he should. Definitely. But what I'm saying is, as a woman in this generation, you do not sit around obsessing only. I'm not saying you should not have the desire, but you have to have the desire to be financially secured. If you do not have a job, you should be working on getting a job. You should be working on your education so that you can, even if you have a job today, you have to have greater earning power. Improve on yourself. Work on your business plan. Get informed on investment projects or ideas. Work on your own project. There is something that God has placed within you. Work on, releasing them. Work on creating. If you're a creator, do something. Always push yourself and challenge yourself even more. Work on your economy. a queen of everything, conscious woman, constantly works on her economy because she really puts value on her security. And truth being told, one of the source of security you can have, apart from your relationship with the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, it's your finances. That's your security. Now let me read to you the word of God in Ecclesiastes 7:12. For wisdom is a defense, as money is a defense. You see, for wisdom is a defense, as money is a defense. So you need to be working on your personal economy. You need to be working on your personal economy. So number 3 is keep working on your personal economy while waiting on your mates. Okay. Now, did you hear what is the definition of power couple? I'm sure you may have come here because you wanted to know that. I hope it was so. Number 4, do you need shelter? When a storm comes, do you need shelter? Are you willing to sleep in the wood or under the bridge, like some people end up doing because of some situation that is out of their control? Do you need shelter if a storm comes? Even if you have your own apartment or a roof over your head, question is, will you say you own that roof? Or are you still renting like me? So if you know that your answer to do you need shelter, actually for me it's not just to say, okay, yes, I'm renting, yes, I have an apartment. You should at some point, actually it has to become a priority to start saving and working towards ownership of your own home. That's where I am now. That's my focus. And it has nothing to do with being married or not. Even as a woman that is waiting on a mate, you need to be working on home ownership. Whether you have a roof over your head or not, you should be working on owning your own home. You should be working on your own home. I know some women, some sisters, some crowns, some queen of everything will be telling me, Bangladesh, if I own a roof and if I have all these things, will the man not be, how can I say, will the man not feel threatened by what I've accomplished, by me owning the home? And will it not feel like, no, it's a bit too much? And will it not scare away? I'm sorry to tell you, a king of everything is not scared away by a queen of everything that is established and accomplished. On the contrary, if he's a king, he knows what it means that a queen is working on herself, improving on herself. I'm not talking about those women or those ladies that use it to sabotage their own relationship, like they don't want to own the person or own everything, or they become very arrogant. No, I'm not talking about such. I'm talking about those women that knows the value of improving on themselves, working on themselves while they are waiting on their mate. Because truth being told is, if you are a good woman, question is, are you a good woman? Because a good woman that wants a good man who works on herself because she knows that a good man deserves a good woman. She knows that a good man deserves, just as he's somewhere doing the work on himself, he also deserves to receive the best. So you work on yourself to become the best version of yourself. You work so that you, not only now, but in future as a couple, you need to live your best life. So you already caring for that person you're waiting for. Instead of being obsessing on when he's coming, why don't you obsess on being a good woman to that good man that you are also expecting to have, or that God will bring into your life? Be what and become what you desire to receive. It's as simple as that. Because he's also a child of God. He's also a king. And just as you desire to receive the best, he also desires to receive the best. So work on yourself. Own it. Own it. Go for it. And get it. Number 5. Now this is very important as a tool. Do you have the need to express the vision in your heart? Do you have the need to express the vision in your heart? Now, if we are talking about good men, then let's not forget, I think I've touched it a little in number 4. Let's not forget to be good women as well. I've come to realize that I deserve as much as I want my future spouse. He deserves as much as I deserve from him. So if we are speaking about good men, then let's not forget to talk about good women as well. Good men also deserves good women. Let's be honest about it, and let's be understanding. Let's be understanding about that. Let's really be mindful when it comes to that. We really need to work on our personal development and growth. Keep developing yourself. Keep working and improving on yourself. Because if you're not careful, you keep obsessing about when is he coming into your life, you will end up not matching up. When he actually comes into your life, you will not match up. You will not match up. Because this is the season for you to work on yourself, improve on yourself, so that when he comes, you will match him as well. Because you might not be prepared for him if you don't do anything about it now. When he eventually comes into your life, you will be frustrated because you realize you were not actually prepared for the person you've been praying for or looking for. And he might come and you might not even be for that person you've been looking for, who he has been looking for. Because you are still a raw version. You need to work on becoming the best version of yourself as well. Okay? You need to do that. So that when he actually comes into your life, then he meets that version, that improved version of yourself. At least you should be on the way on improving yourself, on becoming that person. So that he can recognize you just as you will recognize him. Remember, as I said, it applies to men and women. What am I saying? What I'm simply saying is, if you do not allow your development to take place, if you not allow yourself to evolve and grow, then the one that you are praying for, you may not be suitable for him when you meet. Meaning, the one that you are looking for, when he finally finds you, you will not be for him what he's looking for. Because you are busy, you are busy obsessing about when is he coming, that you did not do your own side of the work. You did not do your inside work. Now you're busy talking about a man. Let me ask you another question. Do you have the need to express the vision in your heart? Do you have the need to express that vision that is in your heart? Remember in the first one, I began to say that God did not create you for relationship first. He created you for purpose. So you need to identify your purpose. The moment you have identified your purpose, it will be easy for you to be able to identify your mate. So if you do not know your purpose, you do not know your mate. And if you do not know your purpose, your mate does not recognize you. See? That's why it's very important for you to fulfill purpose, to focus on discovering who you are, discovering your purpose, the vision for which God called you and called you into this earth first. Because then that's the one piece of the puzzle that solves every other equation. Proverbs 29:18 says, where there is no revelation of vision, the people perish. It means that if you do not express the vision that God has placed in your heart, you will end up miserable. Let me tell you what happens. Even if you end up in a relationship while you have not yet discovered your purpose, or while you are not expressing the vision or the purpose that is in your heart, what happens is you will self-sabotage yourself and the relationship that you are in. Because you will, at some point, you will have to settle down in your mind and ask yourself, why am I here? Which comes back to the question that is, what is my identity? Who am I? Hear me well. Fulfillment will not come from you being in a relationship. Fulfillment will not come in you being in a marriage. No. I know I'm not married yet, and I thank God. That's because I received the revelation that I will not find fulfillment in a relationship and in a man. Fulfillment only comes when you're fulfilling purpose. That's why when you are not settled on what is your purpose, when you are not settled on the vision that God has placed in you, then it's a recipe for disaster. You ought to do the inside work, no matter how hard it is. Keep searching, keep looking, until not only do you establish what is your vision, your revelation of who you are called to be, your purpose on this earth. I repeat, that's the one piece of the puzzle that will solve everything, every question that you've been asking. You realize, what you do not realize is you've been so busy wondering when it will come, that you do not realize that the pain and the desperation that you are actually feeling is due to the fact that you are not fulfilling purpose. You feel empty because that's the first reason for which God created you. And when you're not fulfilling your purpose on earth, you will feel empty. It's not because you're not married. Even if you actually happen to meet the perfect man, which they are known, yes, Crown, they are known. There might be a perfect man for you, but there's no perfect man. So even if you happened to marry Jesus Christ of Nazareth, you will sabotage that relationship. You will destroy it because you will not be fulfilled. You will discover very quickly that fulfillment does not come from being in a relationship. Your fulfillment does not come from another person like you being in your life. No, you do not find fulfillment like that. You find happiness in fulfillment when you're fulfilling purpose. How beautiful is that? Yeah. God is being gracious. God is being gracious. I thank God I had all these questions before I say I do. Then I know what I'm walking into. I know what I'm settling for. I know what is happening. I do not go blindfolded. You know, knowledge is power. And the practice of knowledge, that's what is called wisdom. That's why the Bible says, my people are dying for lack of knowledge. What you don't know can indeed kill you. You need to know the marriage is not a game. It's a responsibility, dude. It is a responsibility. I love this topic. Tool number 6, and I'm out of here. Do you have a need to be remembered for anything? That's right. A queen of everything conscious woman works on her legacy while she waits on her mate or for her mate. Yes. I've made an observation lately and just recently, and it's true. When someone dies and a biography of the person is being read or is being made, 98% of what is written about a person is what the person has accomplished through his or her lifetime. And only maybe at the end then you see his so-and-so's wife and so-and-so's mother or so-and-so's father. What's my point? My point is, you will not be remembered for the relationship that you had. You will not be remembered for the marriage that you had or the person you've been married to. But you will be remembered for what you have accomplished, for the legacy that you left. See? Great point, right? If you're not working on your personal vision, if you're not working on your purpose, which is tool number 5, then it means that you're not doing much when it comes to fulfilling tool number 6, which is to leave something to be remembered for. You know, some of us still think that a wedding or marriage is an accomplishment. No, it is not. Wedding and marriage is not an accomplishment. a marriage is a relationship. It's actually a responsibility, but it's not an accomplishment in itself. It is not. It's when you are in the relationship or in the marriage, and you all now make things happen within the marriage, within the relationship. Then, only then can we say that we now have an accomplishment. But it is not an accomplishment just because you are all together, you're living together. Not at all. Not at all. So many people are unhappily married for a long time, some even for a lifetime. So marriage in itself, it's not an accomplishment. That is why you have to figure out who you are and why God put you on this earth. That is why you need to do that inside work. Because when you have identified your purpose, that will even help you when it comes to a choice of a mate. It will help you make the right choice. Because you do not even want to get married to someone that is conflicting, is in conflict with what God has placed in your heart or in your life as an individual. Because you have to fulfill legacy. You have to fulfill legacy. Let me read this Exodus 32:13 in the Bible. Remember Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, my servant to whom thou swearest by thine own, by thy own self, said unto them, I will multiply your seed as the stars of heaven, and all this land that I have spoken of will I give unto your seed, and they shall inherit it forever. See that? What do you have to leave for the people that are coming? What are you going to leave behind for those that are coming after you? Yes, that is your legacy. That is your legacy. We have come to the end of this episode of the Crown Show. I bet this was intense. You reckon, huh? To conclude or to close this episode of the Crown Show, I just want you to realize that you are a queen of everything. You just didn't know it. But now, I call you to awaken to your true power and to level up to the standard that God has set before you. Hey, I'm praying for you. I'm praying for you to discover who you are, to discover why God has put you in this earth, your purpose, to live according to your personal vision, so that you do not have to ask yourself once more, why is my mate, or when is my mate coming? You'll be so busy that when it comes, trust me, you won't even see him coming. I mean, like, you'll be so busy, you won't even be moved. You need to discover who you are and master who you are, whether it's before marriage or after marriage. When you see it like that, then you understand that you're worried and you're frustrated for nothing at all. You're not wasting your time. No, you're alive. You're on the right path. So focus on the right things. Prioritize. And everything else will be blissful in your life. Even in your marriage. Because I believe that indeed, through this video, you will begin to make the right choices and end up marrying the right person and have a blissful relationship and marriage. We will testify very soon. And now we have come to the end of the show. Oh my gosh. This is your time to shine, crowd. This is your time. Yes, okay. This is your time to shine. Well, if this video has been insightful to you, if you loved what you watched today, please do not forget to give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if this is your first time. Of course, if you did not appreciate or you didn't like what you heard here, feel free to give me a thumbs down. That's life. It's all about balance. So, thank you for sharing in your various platforms. Thank you for commenting. And if there's anything you would like to add to the tools that I've mentioned here, feel free, you're welcome. I'm still open to learning. I'm learning every day. I'm a proud student of life. That being said, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much. You're such a blessing. Thank you for keep coming. Thank you for your support. You are such a blessing. Till next time, this is the